Sweet. Welcome, guys. Rob and Melissa here with Flip Market Flipper.
Hello.
Guys, we have been looking forward to this sourcing workshop. We are super stoked.
We're here for first week, for call number 1.
That's it.
Got lots of people jumping on, you guys.
We'll give you guys a little bit of background. People are still going to jump in for a couple minutes, guys. I'm sure for the next probably 5 or 10 minutes, we'll get people jumping on. So a little bit of background, how we came about to do this sourcing workshop. Just recently, some of you guys might know a little bit about our story. We were on a 127 yard sale trek from Alabama to Michigan. We stopped in different towns, all, what was it, a 600 mile?
690 miles.
690 mile was the total, was the total that we traveled. But we stopped in different towns every night. We stayed in different hotels and stuff like that. But while we were in those areas, we started checking out the different avenues of being able to source on the road. So we were looking at apps. We were looking at thrift stores in the areas. We were looking at all these different ways and checking out all the different ways that we were able to find stuff. We found stuff all over the place. It was an amazing trip. We found a lot of cool stuff. We ended up
the flea markets on the way.
And the flea markets, that's right. Yeah. So I mean, we were just finding all kinds of cool stuff. So we wanted to dig deeper into you guys and a little bit more about our background. But we wanted to dig deeper into teaching people how to source the way that we're able to source. We get questions all the time. How do you guys find all that amazing stuff? How do you guys do it? How do you do it? So
and they think it's all because of we're in Orlando. And yeah, we do. I mean, we have a pretty good area, but we've been working in other people's areas too, and taking that trek. So we want to show, we can find stuff everywhere.
That's
so it's there. It's just finding it.
We were in Podunkville, guys. We were in the middle of nowhere.
Sometimes you can find the best stuff.
That's it, because people can't sell it anywhere else. So you'll get great deals. I remember when one of the last things we bought on the road trip was this pizza dough machine. Amazing. The guy sold it to us for, I think he wanted $125. I offered him $100 for it. And he sold it to me for $100, but
they were closing up too. And
it was
nowhere.
I think was it Sunday or Saturday?
Yeah, it was whatever the last day was.
Okay. Anyways, it was close to Michigan. I don't remember exactly, but it was in the middle of nowhere in a big tent that these people had, and we ended up buying that thing for $100. It's listed right now on eBay for $2,000. I already had an offer for $1,700 on it, and I turned it down.
You didn't take it?
No, I didn't.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, because it's worth more than that. I'm the cheapest priced on eBay right now at $1,900 with free shipping. So yeah. Anyways, we could have already sold it and made $1,600 on the deal, but we did not, because that's how I roll. Melissa gets upset about it, so I don't even tell her about some of this stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, that's what it is, guys. We are finding crazy stuff all over the place. And while we are doing this, guys, please, any questions that pop up to you guys, throw them into the chat. We might not get to them really right at the minute you ask them, but we'll go back. Melissa's going to moderate it, and she's going to keep me on task with our whole thing that we're going through. So
Sharon says she still can't hear. She might not hear me say that then. I'll have to type it in the thing. Yeah, I will. Okay. I gotta find it. Go ahead.
So yeah, that's what we want to show you guys is there's stuff out there all over the place. When you know how to source the right way, when you're doing it the right way, when you're looking at all the different avenues and stuff like that, you can find some amazing deals. And we didn't just find stuff when we were on the 127 yard sale. We didn't just find stuff at the local, yard sale stuff and flea market areas. I was jumping on my apps. I was jumping on OfferUp. I was jumping on Facebook. I was jumping all over the place. And when you join all that stuff together, when you're looking in your towns, that's where the magic is. That's where you'll find the amazing stuff. But you can't just go with one avenue. If you can't find it in one avenue, jump into another one. You got to spread your wings. You got to get out there and you got to find some stuff in different areas. And you have to think of outside the box sometimes. So just think of that kind of stuff moving forward. Tonight, we're actually going to jump into kind of our routine, our secret sauce on how we actually deal with the local flea market, yard sales, and thrift stores. That's what we want to jump into, a little bit of information into that tonight. But go ahead.
I was going to say, before we do that, we're going to talk a little bit about kind of the layout of what we're going to do. So is that okay?
Of course.
We do that. So we're going to talk, we have 5 more weeks after this where, we are going to talk about that tonight in just a little bit. And as we go, he just said, if you have questions, pop them in the chat, email us as we go. We'll make sure we cover them in the next couple weeks too. If we don't get to them tonight, obviously we might not get to them all tonight. And then we're going to go over OfferUp, Letgo, sourcing Facebook,
Craigslist.
Did I say that?
Yeah, no, you didn't.
Sorry.
But Craigslist, I'll jump in real quick for Craigslist, guys. That was one of the ones on the road that I found because I have discounted them for years and not liked them. they're amazing for sourcing. So we got to get back into that. We're going to that's
not
it,
looking on
because
there
people
as
are going
much.
to other apps or Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, all these new apps that are coming out, and they're putting Craigslist in the background. There was some amazing stuff on the road that was people were old school people who don't know about the new apps. They're still listing stuff on Craigslist, so you can get amazing deals on that. But we will dissect Craigslist on how to get some great deals on Craigslist as well.
We're gonna go through those and look, and then also the top items that we look for. You know, we're gonna go through those, and we're gonna sorry, we're actually gonna go through. We want to do some what is it? What am I looking for? Lost the word. Like actually go in your area and do some like screen shares. So later on, send us an email with your zip code and just write zip code in the top, and I'll also start a thread in the Facebook group that you guys can drop your zip code. And we're obviously not going to get to everybody's zip code, but we're gonna try a few, and we're gonna do some live sourcing, so you guys can shoot it, but make sure you put zip code in the title or in the subject line so that I can just search and find those. So yeah, we'll get to a couple of those. We'll do them on each of the online platforms so we can search.
Perfect.
That's what I wanted to add.
Yep. And some of you guys, everybody who's on here, some of you guys might have just recently found Melissa and I. I'll give you a little bit of background about ourselves. I've been flipping for over 20 years. I've done it. I started out when I was 16 years old, and we started with some small things, and we moved into exercise equipment. And then I started selling on eBay when eBay started up. So that's my background. Melissa married into it 13 years ago. We've been doing it full time.
I had no idea what he did. Really.
Yeah, full time ever since. So we've been doing it for the last 4 or 5 years?
Full time, yes.
Yeah, full time. That's what our full time income is, flipping. So we know what we're doing, guys. We know how to source. We know how to make money at this stuff. So that's hopefully, if you guys just found us, you'll find it pretty quick. We have a blast doing this. We absolutely love it. It's our passion. Even if we had millions and millions of dollars, I would still be doing this just because I love it. I love being able to find some cool stuff, flipping it and making some good money. And then my other passion now is actually teaching other people how to do it as well. I love coaching people. I love teaching people that they can take control of their finances and be able to make some awesome money with doing minimal work towards that, finding an amazing deal for cheap and then flipping it on eBay, shipping it out and doing that kind of stuff to make, thousands of dollars sometimes. So it's just amazing. We love that. We're passionate about it. So that's a little bit about our backstory. Did I miss anything?
No, I was just going to add, we just went to a conference this last weekend. It's a whole personal finance conference. All these people are very much into the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. And we've been on a couple of their podcasts, and, people asked us, about like if retiring early, and that you said that same answer. Like I would do the exact same thing I'm doing. It doesn't matter because you have such a passion for it. So it's just fun. It's a fun, it's different and it's just fun to do. And on the weekends he's up extra early, ready to go to the flea market. So here we go.
That's our number one call to fame, or not call to fame, but that's our number one flea markets. I've always loved flea markets. Our local flea market is amazing. It's a hodgepodge of people come together throughout the week. They buy stuff, thrift stores, yard sales, through Craigslist, all the different places, and they bring it all to the flea market. It's probably got 200 vendors at the flea market on Saturday and Sunday. I love going there. The vendors that I normally deal with, I just love looking at their stuff. They always have new stuff, and I find some crazy, crazy cool deals. So
I've been going to the flea market consistently for years.
Yep.
So and he started going more consistently when we went full time. He's like, all right, we got to really do this. So for the last 4 years, pretty much every weekend.
Yeah.
So don't put this. I mean, you can put the zip codes in here, but I can't really. I won't be able to go back and check them, and I can't write them all down.
Yeah.
So go ahead and send us an email, Rob at fleamarketflipper.com or Melissa at fleamarketflipper.com. Either one's fine as long as you put zip code in the title.
Yeah, and just put title, zip code, so we know that's what it is, and then
just
we'll take them all in.
Yeah, so I can go back and look. No, it's okay. And Greg said he's in Canada, so he doesn't have a zip code. But if you can give us like your postal code.
Yeah.
Code. Blah, blah,
postal code. Yeah.
Whatever however you are found. And
well, same thing. Same way you're directed with Craigslist or OfferUp, Let Go, that kind of stuff.
And when you send us the email, Greg, also write what apps are in your area.
Yeah.
So that we can know what is in Canada.
Yep.
So in your area, and that'll help us too.
Cool.
So like reselling apps, because maybe Let Go is more popular where you are, or OfferUp.
Cool.
Awesome. So you want to talk more about our routine and how we start to find stuff?
Yeah. So if you got your notepads out, guys, jump them out. Pull them out. This is where we're going to start. Number one with all the stuff with sourcing is consistency. Where we're at in our local town, we do stuff consistently. That's where we build routines. You might hit up a thrift store and not find anything, and you're like, oh, well, hit them up once or twice, and it's like they never have anything good. Consistently do that for a couple weeks. See if they're getting any new stuff, new shipments. Talk to them. Talk to the people there. Ask them, hey, when do you guys get your biggest donations, stuff like that. Consistency is key in this business. So just like Melissa said, I love going to the flea markets. Our local flea market is amazing. I love going to it. For years, I went every Saturday and Sunday morning. I don't do Sundays as much anymore. We don't.
You used to go both
Yeah,
days,
we
that's
don't
right.
rely on the flea market now for the items that we find, and that brings us into kind of our second note that I want you to take notes of. But consistency is the big part. You want to build a routine, keep doing it. I've done it for years, and that's how you build a good business, is by consistently sourcing those things. So that's the first one, and the second one is.
Can I add on?
Go ahead,
real
please.
quick? I know like 2 of our course members too. Lindy, I think I just saw her on a minute ago. She stops by on her way home from work, stops by Goodwill a couple times a week, and that's in her routine. And she finds some amazing stuff at Goodwill, just from stopping. And Bo stops in his
Goodwill,
local one. He's
yeah.
writing as another thrift store that he
Yeah.
stops at just on his way home from school and work. And it just that 10 minutes of stopping and looking, consistently is huge. We have a thrift store near us. I like the thrift stores. So I'll stop there depending on how many kids I have usually.
Yeah.
If it's all 3, then I might not stop. But if it's just one with me that day, then I'll stop and we'll go check it out. Because it's just driving on the way home, stop by and see how it is. So anyways.
Yep. So consistency is huge. That's the biggest thing that we can stress to you guys, is build those routines, and don't just give up after 1 or 2 trips, 3, 4 trips, something like that. You have to start building a consistent routine of those places. And then you kind of know, if they don't have anything, after quite a few stops and, you go for a couple weeks and you don't find anything, that thrift store might not get stuff, and maybe only visit them, once a month or once every other week or something like that, to just on the off chance they might get some crazy donation or something like that. But the places that you do find good stuff at, double down on those. If you can stop, 2 or 3 times a week after your normal routine, your daily working routine or something like that, double down, because you'll find some amazing stuff in there. Good stuff usually goes quick in good thrift stores. So the more that you can be in there and build a routine, the more you'll be able to find some amazing stuff. So
I was surprised at our one thrift store. They get stuff and they are constantly moving stuff, and it's always new stuff coming in. So I was surprised. I think I stopped there 2 days in a row. I was looking for a dresser, and I was like, I'll just stop again. And they had a whole bunch of new stuff. I didn't know it turned over that quickly. So.
And you can talk to the people in there. And you can ask them what their normal routine is. Are they getting any crazy donations from big companies or whatever it is? How often they're getting stuff in and moving stuff out to the floor and that kind of stuff. And they'll tell you. They're happy to tell you their routine. So to keep you coming back. So. But that is a huge one, is consistency. The second one is building relationships. And Bo, I don't know if Bo's on here tonight. He was supposed to be on here. Bo has gone through Flipper University, and he's the one who is amazing at shoes. He does shoes from Goodwills and thrift stores, but he talks about going to, going to these thrift stores. I think it is Goodwill in his local area. And after he builds a consistent routine of doing that, the manager starts to know him. And instead of giving him, 1 day a week, a lot of thrift stores will have a 50% off day, like on Wednesday, or 30% off. The manager gives that to Bo every time he goes in there, because he creates a relationship with the manager. The manager likes him. He knows what he does. So Bo gets that every time he goes in there. The manager gives him that discount. And that's creating a relationship. And getting back to my normal routine of going to the flea market, that I don't have to do that as much as I used to, because I built relationships. And this has only happened within the last 3 or 4 years. I built relationships with the vendors that I would buy the most stuff with. They would have the coolest stuff every week, week after week. I started building a relationship with those vendors. I got their phone numbers because they said they had something at their storage or their house, and they told me I could come and look at it during the week. So I got their phone numbers. So I have vendors now that text me throughout the week, and they're like, hey, we just ran across this. Hey, we just ran across that. They'll shoot me a picture of it, and I'm able to make decisions without anybody else competing for that item. Because they're sending me and they're giving me the first option to buy stuff. So
just pull this out of the trash. Do you want
That's it. Some of my vendors, they're trash pickers, and they give me the stuff that they pull out of the trash before they take it to the flea market or before they take it to the scrapyard, whatever it is. They give me the option to buy it. So that is the second one that you guys need to make a note of. After consistency is building those relationships with vendors, thrift store managers or employees, any place you're out there. It's hard to build a relationship with yard sales.
Yeah, 'cause it's so sporadic.
So you can find stuff, but at the same time, wherever you can be nice, be polite, just shoot the breeze with these people and try to build a relationship with them. It will pay off dividends in the future. I'm telling you, the guys that I'm able to just call up or text when I need something, or even just go source their yard whenever I want because I built that relationship. It's amazing. I can go and get stuff anytime I want instead of relying on the flea market every week to be able to be my sole provider for finding stuff to flip. So
I have two things I wanted to add, but the first one was you didn't used to do that. Like when for forever,
Years.
you've been doing this our whole marriage, but really it was just the last couple of years you
Yeah.
started doing that. But you didn't want people to know what you did. You didn't really tell anybody. You just kind of like you were, now like people, they know you sell on eBay. Like it's not a big deal. They can totally sell on eBay too if they wanted to, but they don't want to. But yeah, like they know what you do and they know that you're a repeat buyer, so they're going to keep selling to you.
that's it.
And before you didn't really take the time to get to know people.
Yeah.
And another thing that what was I thinking of? Oh, the relationships too. We're not really talking about apps this week, but creating relationships with people who have multiple stuff on OfferUp.
Yep. And I'll give you another example of this. TJ, I think TJ's on here. Yeah, he is. TJ Phone. TJ, we actually helped TJ source a little bit in his area for some coaching that we did with him. But we actually found a guy. I found a guy that had a Slurpee machine in his area. I checked out the guy. We'll get into all these details with the apps. He was on OfferUp, I believe. I went back, I checked out what else the guy had. I could tell he was a scrapper just by the stuff he had posted on OfferUp. So I told TJ, when you go check this guy out, be nice to him, shoot the breeze with him, ask him if he comes into more deals like this. And sure enough, TJ asked him. He was great. He built a relationship with this guy who he bought one Slurpee machine for. I think it was his first one he bought was like $180. He sold it for like $2,200 within the first month. He went back and bought 3 or 4 more of the same Slurpee machines from the guy, got him down to $100 per Slurpee machine. Now TJ's his main contact to be able to buy those machines that he's going to be able to sell for $2,000 and $3,000 a pop. So it doesn't matter where you're at. When you can build those relationships like that, that will work for you, and it will be amazing to be able to build your business like that. So always think about that kind of stuff when you're out there sourcing for sure. So.
Yeah, I wrote those 2 things down too: consistency,
awesome,
and building relationships.
And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And guys, everybody who's jumped on here just recently, any questions while we're talking throughout this this workshop? Any questions that we're going through? If we're going too fast about anything, throw it on the chat. Melissa will stop me and say, hey, repeat this or whatever it is. Anything that even questions that I spark inside of you from what we're talking about, don't hesitate. Throw them in the chat. We have everybody muted for a reason. It's too hard to listen to everybody with this many people on. So throw it in the chat. We'll get to the question as quick as we can, and we'll actually go back at the end. We'll try and save a little bit of time too, that we can answer some more questions through the end, through the whole presentation. So,
and that's one thing that's awesome about doing these live calls is because we've done a couple of the workshops in the past, and like stuff that we wouldn't think of necessarily to add in, like the questions are sparked, and then it just makes it so much better because we know exactly what you guys are looking for. So, yeah, it's awesome when we get those, and we'll also go through those for the rest of the couple weeks too.
Yep.
One thing that we did want to talk about too is, I know this, we're going to talk about this again, for homework, just start thinking about this. We wanted to have you guys look for a couple items in your area. So look for items online. We're going to go over apps, but just to kind of like get a feel of it, like we're going to go through all this stuff, but just go do it now so that then you can kind of get an idea if you haven't done it before. So like go find 3 items in your area, whether it be thrift stores, flea markets, online apps, whatever it is. You don't have to buy it, but just you can if you want to, if it's a great deal. Write down what they're selling it for, and then go look it up.
Do the research.
Do the research on eBay, and that's another thing you can talk about at the flea market. So do the research on eBay, do the research on retail, and you can talk about how you do that at the flea market. So.
Yeah. A lot of people also ask us what our normal routine is when we go up and we find something. How do we know it's a good deal? How do we know that we want to buy it? The industry has changed leaps and bounds just even within the last 10 years compared to what it used to be. When I started out, we used to go to auctions. We went to a Salvation Army auction. That's where we found all of our original stuff. I didn't do the flea market. Sorry, our dog's barking. I didn't do the flea market originally when I started out when I was younger. We actually went to a Salvation Army here in Orlando. The Salvation Army retail store has a warehouse behind their store, and they would do a auction 5 days a week. Monday through Friday. All the stuff that they could not fit into the retail store because it wasn't big enough, it went out. All the donations, they went out to the warehouse. That's where I started. I would buy exercise equipment from there. You could buy anything and everything you could think of, from appliances to kitchen utensils. I mean, they had everything you could think of. And yeah, well, kitchen, like just stuff in the kitchen, like pots and pans and everything like that. Anything you could think of. They had clothes, they had shoes. They would lump them in and sell them in lots. But they had everything you could think of. And that's where I really started buying exercise equipment, Nordic Tracks, in the beginning. That's where I bought that stuff. But that was how I had to do it in the beginning. And I didn't get the opportunity to look up stuff before I bought it. So when I would see something crazy and cool, I had no idea if it was worth money or if it was a dud. When I originally bought it, I had to buy it, bring it home, do the research when I got back to my computer or the laptop or to the internet, and then figure out if that was going to be a huge score or if it was a huge bust. So
the internet was fairly
that's
new.
it. Nowadays, it's not like that. Everybody has a smartphone. You can look everything up before you buy it. So that's what Melissa and I tell everybody. We're not gamblers. We don't just go out there and hope that we're buying something that's going to sell for more money. That's not how it works. Everything that we buy, we do the research before we buy it. So that's another key to sourcing, is making sure that you're getting an amazing deal on the item, that there's enough room in it. If it's a big item, kind of like somebody just wrote something a few minutes ago about shipping 100-pound items. Oh, yeah, shipping 100-pound items. We do that stuff all the time. But I put that into my price. When I'm buying an item, I want to make sure that it's in, that I can ship it and ship it for a good price to make a good profit. That all goes into the kind of the mindset or the thought process when you're actually sourcing items. That goes into that thought process, so you know you're not going to lose money. So when I go to the flea market and when I find an amazing item, a lot of times what catches my eye, which we'll put a list together of the stuff that we buy normally just from the years. I think we even have one.
Yeah, it's the sourcing guide.
Okay,
Yeah.
the sourcing guide. We'll get that together so you guys can look at that stuff. But a lot of times, what catches my eye is the weird stuff, the stuff that I don't know what it is, or I have to do more research on it. So everybody's like, well, how do you find out? What's your normal process? Well, I walk up to a vendor, I look at the item, and I either say, hey, do you mind if I take a picture of this, send it to my wife? And a lot of them say no. I find out what the brand is, what the model is, most of that information that I can find out about it. I'll either snap a picture of it, take a mental note, ask the vendor if they know anything about the item, because a lot of my vendors I deal with, they don't know. They buy stuff from auctions and lots, the storage auctions, stuff like that. So they don't know a lot about it. But I just try to get any information I can about it. And then I walk away from them. I leave the item, I walk away, and then I pull out my smartphone. I punch it into Google. I find out what it retails for. Quick search into Google will tell you a lot of that you need to know. And then also on eBay. We jump into eBay. We see what items are listed for, what items have sold for. And then I make an educated guess or an educated synopsis on, hey, I'm going to go back. I'm going to offer these people this much money for this. They're either going to jump on it or no, but then it starts your actual negotiation with the vendor. So some people will go up to a vendor and they'll sit there, pull out their phone while they're looking at the item and do the research, and then they'll start negotiating with the vendor from there. I don't do that because I don't like a vendor to know that I'm doing any research on the item. That's why I walk away with either a picture of it.
Sometimes they might not know what it is either. They're like, whatever, here, take it, or
but
whatever.
Yeah, and I don't like it if the vendor tells you, hey, this is $25. You look it up and it's worth $1,000, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'll take it. And then the vendor's like, wait a minute, I priced it too cheap. So that's why I walk away. I do the research. I come back, and then I'll either negotiate with them. I'll pay the price, whatever it is. I do that, and that's my normal routine for going to the flea market. The same thing with a thrift store. I'll look at a thrift store. I'll find I believe it or not, if I find a pair of shoes or something like that, I don't even stand there with the shoes. I take a mental note of it. I walk to the other side of the store. I'll look it up. You don't have to do it this way. This is just how I do it. I do the research on it, and then I make a decision, and I go back and get them, check condition, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how we do it. So, but that's kind of, the routine that I have come accustomed to with, sourcing and doing the research on finding out what an item is worth and if I'm going to invest in it for sure.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know if you touched on this, I think, he looks on it on Google, and then also eBay, and pretty much if you can find the retail price, like a good rule of thumb is you can get about half of that. Sometimes a little bit more. But if you can find the retail, the same model, like there's different models, different years, but if you can find the same model retail, usually you can get about 50% of that on eBay. So you just have to put in, figure out, and is your profit going to be worth it to sell it, pay the eBay fees, or if you sell it locally that you don't have the fees. and then also your shipping.
Yep.
So make sure your profit's still there, because it doesn't, we get another question that we've gotten a lot is, is this a good deal paying $200 for this, but I can sell it for $300 on eBay? And if you do the math, you buy something for $200, you're going to sell it on eBay for $300. You automatically have $30 to
about $35
eBay in fees, and then
PayPal
you got to
and eBay.
ship it, and so your profit's gone.
Yeah.
So it's not worth it. So you have to do those the math
Yeah.
and make sure that it's worth it, because your time is worth more than $5.
Yep.
So and that's a big thing. That's why we have gravitated towards the larger items, because we don't want to take all that time to just make $5. So,
Exactly.
It's our time's worth a little bit more than that. So, and your time should be too.
Yeah.
And not to discount the little items, because they do add up. And even just having more items active, if you're on eBay, that helps with selling. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm losing my voice from the conference still.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's a good point. The smaller items, it generally, Melissa and I, our comfort zone is $20 to $50 investing. But usually we want to try and make 10 times our money on that. So on an item that I'm spending $20 on, I want to sell it for $200, and which means retail on it is going to be probably like $500, $700 for me to be able to make that. And then I sell it for $200. If I do free shipping on it, I know what it's going to cost me to do it. But yeah, that's why we have gravitated to the larger items, because the profits are so much more in the larger items. So and the larger items usually they might cost me a little bit more money to invest in them, but the retails on them, just like last week, or actually last night, we sold it last week, but we shipped out a griddle, a commercial griddle that we sold for $3,000. Yeah, amazing flip. And somebody actually gave that to us, so we didn't have any money into that. So, but
that's another perk of people knowing what you do now. Like more people now know what we do. We've told more of our friends, obviously, and if they need, like this, our friend had a restaurant closing, and so they said, hey, can you sell this stuff? I think you sold a couple things for them.
Yeah.
And then they had to get all their stuff out, and then they just gave it to us. So,
Yeah.
and we've stored it for a year. So that was a big item that we stored for a year.
Yeah.
But we made money on it after. It was worth the storage fees for that.
Exactly. So $3,000 out of the deal, and yeah, we didn't pay anything for it. But yeah, some of our stuff, it's like that griddle. It just takes the right restaurant to open up, or somebody's goes bad. And I know that. I know what it's worth. The retail on that was probably $10,000 or even more. So at a $3,000 price break, somebody would jump on it at the right time. So if I sold it locally, probably could get $350 for it. Nowhere near what I can get when I throw it on eBay online. So that's kind of why our business model is what it is. But normally, if I would have bought that, if I would have invested in that, I probably would have only spent, I would say, $150 to $250 if I would have bought it locally. And then I would have flipped it, and $3,000 is where we were at with it. So just a great flip for sure. So, and
just to kind of, we'll talk more about the items that we look for, and but commercial items are always where it's going to be higher profit. So anything that's commercial, like if you're kitchen equipment that's commercial, is going to be more. Kitchen equipment can do well. Like we love cooktops. We do a lot of cooktops. A lot of people in our course do a lot of cooktops too now, because they can be a great flip. People don't know what to do with them, and they get rid of them. They replace their own, and then they just sell theirs for super cheap. And then if you can ship it, then you can make some good money on them. But anything commercial and exercise equipment, not just residential treadmills like those you can get for like $100, but a commercial one, any
gym quality stuff
equipment,
you can make great money on.
Commercial stuff, and that's the bigger stuff, and we'll get into more smaller stuff too.
Yeah.
But I just thought of that side note. And Bonnie said, I know folks at garage sales get insulted when people are looking and scanning.
Yeah.
And one thing that I would say, you've gone back into the car before.
Exactly.
If you've been at a garage sale, it's like, all right, I'm going to send, I'm going to ask my wife or your buddy, I got to send this picture to my buddy. And you go back in the car. Do the research. And
that's why it's key. If you can memorize what the brand name is, which I'm not very good at memory either. So a lot of times I'll say, hey, I want to snap a picture and send it over to my wife, or a friend or a sister, somebody who might be interested in it. Snap a picture of it, go walk away from them so they don't see that you're sitting there doing the research on it. But that's been our norm, and I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody while I'm trying to sit there and search it. I make my living like this, but at the same time, I don't want to disrespect anybody, and I don't want them to know that I'm actually figuring out what it's worth. So,
but they do also have the same. They could totally do the same thing. So everybody knows eBay exists. Exactly. Everybody knows all these. So, but most people don't want to take the time to do it.
Nope.
So, So yeah, but yeah, don't insult them.
Yep.
Terry said, did you say that you should normally list items for about 50% of the retail price? That's why you can kind of figure.
It's a good rule of thumb.
It's a good rule of thumb. It doesn't, mean that
Yeah.
your item could be worth more. We always check eBay for the comps, the sold listings.
There's always circumstances that could alter that. If the item is a rare item that doesn't sell a lot on eBay, every time it gets posted to eBay, I'll give you another example of one of our recent students actually bought a basketball rebound machine, and I helped him as well. I personally helped him source some stuff in his area. The first item he bought was this rebound. It's like a commercial machine that the basketball goes in a hoop. It comes down into this rebound machine, and it pumps it out to the basketball players so they can keep shooting without having to have a rebound or anything like that. I found it in his local area. He paid ridiculous. It was like $100 for it, something really, really ridiculous. Retail on that machine was probably like $6,000. But the whole thing about it was he had to order one part for it. I think he spent another $60 or $100 on a part. So he had less than like $250 into it. He sold it, listed it on eBay. I told him to list it for $3,000, listed it on eBay and sold it within the first time he listed it, it was like 24 hours. Somebody in Israel bought it on eBay, but then they didn't want to pay the shipping to Israel. So he relisted it, sold it in 2 or 3 days later for like $2,800, I want to say. But the point was, these things are not the most common machines. Every time they went on eBay, they sold, and you could see they sold really quick. So if you get into a machine like that, he probably could have even sold it for some more money if he was willing to sit on it for another I don't know, a week or two and asked, $3,500 to $4,000 because he was still under retail, and it was a good deal. It was a nice machine. So there's always circumstances that are not, it's not just, hey, I'm going to get 50% of what it's worth. That's the key all the time. If you want to sell it quicker, you can lower it a little bit. It's all the price break in it. So there's a couple different circumstances that you can factor into that when you're listing your item that you can do. So some things they sell super quick, and some things like that cooktop. We had that cooktop. I don't think we quite had it for a year, but we had it for at least probably six or 7 months from the time that we had it. It took a while to sell, but it took the right person to buy it. They didn't ask me one question. They bought it, they paid for it, and I shipped it out to them. So there's just different circumstances with every sale that you kind of take into effect when you're actually, doing the research of what it's worth and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you look on eBay and something like there's 50 of the same item and they're not selling, like you can see how quickly things turn over. Yep. Then it might not be the best item to get.
Or it's just got to be cheap. If you're not spending that much money for it, or you have to be the
lower cost.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not spending that much money for it and it has a high retail, but
it's free, then it's
a no-brainer. Right? Yep. Put it in your inventory, and it just raises your inventory amount, your inventory that you have on eBay. So you just have to take all these things into account when you're actually sourcing out there. So usually, if I find something for $20 to $50, retail on it is $1,000 or more. I'll jump on it all day long because I'll spend $20 even if I have to sit on it for 6 or 8 months. A lot of people don't have that business model, but I do. I'll sit on it until the right person finds it. If I'm gonna, sell it for $500 to $500, $700, and it's a $20 investment, I'll do that all day long, just because I don't mind doing that. I like to get my eBay inventory up there to where you have enough inventory in the hopper. You'll start selling stuff by the week, and your totals will just start going up. Your profits will go up because you have enough stuff sitting in inventory, and you have like no money into it. You got $20 into a $1,000 retail. Even if you sell for $500, you got $20 into a $500 even. It's just crazy to me. I'll do that all day long because it's absolutely, to me, it's a good investment. So
I try to get them to sell it quicker, but I am happy when it does sell. So it works. We had 2 questions on large item shipping. The best way to ship really large items or really bulky items and shipping 100-pound stuff. We're not really diving into shipping on here. I mean, the best way to ship the big, large items is freight by far. And when you say 100 pounds, the weight doesn't matter on freight. So the size does. So anything that's going to be oversized, so over 130 inches in dimensions and length plus girth is going to be better off shipped freight. So
you can ship 100-pound items still through FedEx, UPS, that kind of stuff, and we've done it.
It depends on the size more than the weight for that.
But freight is how we do the majority of our stuff. We built years of going through all these different freight companies. When we say freight, guys, we'll explain it. That freight is when you're going to put something onto a pallet. You're going to strap it to a pallet. Freight companies don't pick up items like UPS and FedEx. They don't. It doesn't have to be in a box. It goes onto a pallet. It gets strapped on a pallet. The only way that freight companies move items are with forklifts. So it has to be strapped on a pallet. They pick it up with a forklift. They take it, either off your truck, pick it up from your business, your house, whatever, and then they ship it that way. That item never touches a person. It's always on a forklift. They're moving it in and out of a truck with a forklift. That's how they work it. So
it's actually a much safer way to ship than,
way safer
than
than
FedEx.
FedEx or
I don't
UPS.
think we've ever, I don't want to say it, knock on wood, had a freight claim, but FedEx claims we've had our fair share.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, yeah, like you said, a person never touches it, whereas like FedEx, they're throwing boxes, right? We have somebody, Lauren's video, I think, was it FedEx or UPS? I can't remember, like threw the box on her porch. Craziness.
But we've shipped all different size items through FedEx, UPS. That, like I said, it's not necessarily a pound. I think their actual poundage that they will stop is 120 pounds. FedEx and UPS don't want to ship anything over that weight. But you can still, large items, you can ship them in a box. You don't have to ship them on freight. But we don't know.
But weight doesn't matter on freight so much.
No.
So it's
actually,
more,
weight helps you on freight.
Yeah.
The heavier an item is, usually the better rate you can get on freight shipping. So
they're more on density. They want like something smaller or just dense.
Yeah.
So they can
ship
it. So let's see. On eBay, do you typically do auction or buy it now?
Yeah, definitely. eBay, we always do buy it now prices. I set my own prices. A lot of my item, the problem with the problem with auctions, back in the day, I mean, that's what eBay started with, was auctions, to suck people in and get people bidding last minute and that kind of stuff. The problem with the stuff that we find, the coolest stuff in town, that people can't ship or they don't want to sell on eBay or whatever it is, it takes the right person to find it. And majority of the time, somebody's not going to find it in 3, 5, 7 days, 10 days auctions. I think 10 days is the longest auction you can run. And you won't get the right buyer to pay the right amount of money for that item within the 10-day period. So that's why we do the buy it now price, and you can make so much more money on that when the right person finds it. So just like that cooktop I was telling you, until that right person found that, that probably would have sold even on eBay for, $500, $750 if I would have done an auction. But I'm not willing to do that because I know what the price is worth to the right person who finds it. So
yeah, we don't very rarely do auctions unless something is super like really popular and we know that it's going to sell. Like quick. I do remember the one auction we did, but that was like, it was the beginning of last year, was those lights, because you bought them for $2.50. Yeah. And like something you buy really cheap, you can throw on an auction and get rid of it. So that definitely
doesn't matter price.
Like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Or you just want to get.
Yeah, or you have very little money into an inventory and you're trying to turn it quick and you don't really care about it.
And you can see what it's regularly selling for an auction, then that's fine.
Yep.
But if you have a higher value item and you really want to get that, then buy it now. Yeah, we definitely do buy it now.
Yeah. We don't do a lot of electronics either. Auctions are good for iPhones, laptops, that kind of stuff. When you get people sucked into it and they're selling for the money, you can do that. But we don't do a lot of electronics. I don't like the risk. I don't like the risk. I don't like dealing with them. So our stuff
is really how to fix them. So
our stuff is just different. We do different items. So
there was 2 questions on your storage unit. I know you have a warehouse now, but what did you do about storage before that storage unit?
Great question. I wanted to actually touch on this.
I'm gonna same question. How much square foot warehouse do you need, or how much does a typical warehouse rent?
Yeah. Great question. I meant to get to this when we can kind of give you guys our history, because a lot of people, I forget, don't know our story. When I started out, after I moved out of my parents' house, because I originally started doing eBay when I lived with my parents. When I moved out into my own place, I bought actually I rented, once I moved out, a duplex. It was a 2-bedroom duplex. I used that second bedroom in that duplex. That was what I used for my eBay, my picture room, my packaging room, the closet. I stored the stuff in the closet, and that's how I started my eBay business, was right there. As I started to grow and started to see the money into some larger items, I mean, I did some exercise equipment like treadmills, ellipticals and stuff like that. I did sell those back when I was in my duplex. I sold those usually locally, though. I never got into freight shipping when this is years and years ago. I never really got into shipping that stuff. I just bought them and I put them, in that spare bedroom. And I didn't buy a ton of them because I would buy one, I would flip it, usually flip it within a week or 2, and then I'd go and buy another one and do the same thing. So we started out just with my spare bedroom and a closet is how I started my eBay business. After that, it started to grow. I ended up getting a shed to put on the property, and I kept stuff and stored stuff in the shed. Then we grew after that into a storage unit, like a garage.
We never even had a storage unit though when we were at the other house.
No.
Only until we really went full time is when we got a storage unit.
Started working on that. So
we just used the shed, and our old house that we lived in for 5 years was 575 square foot.
Yeah.
So we did not have a lot of storage. We just had a shed in the backyard.
That's why we're in the
and
business.
that's how we did our business. And yeah,
so you don't have to have a ton of storage to run this business. But we
to
saw,
get started, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we saw the potential with the larger items and being able to ship the larger items. So that's when we started stepping. We went into 1 storage unit at first, and we went into 2 storage units, and then we went into 3 storage units. And that's where we're at right now. Is we had 3 storage units for our eBay stuff. And then just within the last probably 2 months, I transferred over. My storage units are just a 1-car garage. So I think they're
not a real unit. They are a garage at a community.
Yeah, that's hard to explain. But for all intents and purposes, it's a storage unit, but it's 10 foot wide by 20 foot deep. That's the size of those. And we have 3 of those right now. But within the last 2 months, we actually got into a warehouse.
So we're liquidating those and moving to the warehouse. We're getting rid of those.
Yeah, 1,400 square foot with some outside storage and stuff like that. If you guys don't know, I love boats. We have boats, we have jet skis and stuff like that I've picked up through the years. So we have stuff like that. So this new warehouse has storage for that kind of stuff, has a place for me to work and store stuff. So, but you guys have to realize this is the progression over, when was the duplex? Yeah. When was,
you lived in a duplex? Like, when did I meet you? Like 14?
When I was 24.
Years ago?
Yeah, 24. So, and I'm 39 right now. So,
so 15 years ago.
Yeah, you're talking, this is the progression through like a 15-year process. And it's not, you don't have to be at this place where we're at right now to even make good money. You can make a great side income with whatever you have. And we never recommend our core students going out and buying a truck, going out, investing in a storage unit, none of that stuff until it comes and you start making good money, you enjoy what you're doing. That's kind of what we do. We tell you to go into it slow, so you're not going out spending this money that you don't have to spend.
Yeah, and just a little shed is like a great place to start, or a garage. I mean, if we had a garage at the other house, we would have used a garage, but we just got a shed.
And that's the other thing. I started with a Ford Mustang. I did not have a truck. A lot of people ask me, can we start with of course you can. You can start with whatever you have. Mine was a convertible, so I could put the top down and put my exercise, like my Nordic track, in the back seat where it was sticking out the top. That wasn't a big deal, but still, that's what I started with. So we tell people to start wherever you're at. You can make money in this business.
I have a good picture of what's the Buick? Remember we had the Buick Park Avenue.
Yep.
Of something sticking out the back trunk and you tied it down. So
we had that for a while. We had a little SUV and we had a grandpa car. That was my work car that I used. It was,
I love that car.
I did. It had great trunk space and it was awesome. So, but you don't have to have a truck. You don't have a storage unit. That's all stuff that comes in time. And if you like the business, I tell everybody, I absolutely love this business. I love not knowing what I'm going to find. I love being out there sourcing stuff and just not knowing what the heck you're going to find, and then finding that needle in the haystack and being able to make, $3,000 on something you didn't pay anything for, or $3,000 you paid $200 for it, whatever it is. That's what I love about the business.
I do have to add that we don't really need 3 storage units. If we had everything listed that was in those storage units, we wouldn't need 3 storage units.
This is true, yeah.
So just to let you know that the part of our hang up a little bit is getting everything listed.
100%, it is, because we find good deals. And some things I'll buy, they might need a little bit of work, and then for some reason I'll find something else, and that'll go on the back burner. And that's happened. I can't even tell you how many times that has happened, guys. But that's my downfall. That's my downfall. So we
really could have one probably.
We probably could. But for all you guys, we have roughly 100 I think I have like 110 things listed on eBay right now. And it's over $150,000 worth of inventory on 110 things. That just gives you an idea of what our prices are, what our stuff is listed at. And we probably have $200,000 to $300,000 of stuff that is not even listed yet, because for whatever reason I have not finished it. I don't have it on. That might not be the best business model for everybody, but I think of it as it's part of my investment. It's part of our stuff that I always can do a little bit of work to something and throw it on there and make some money. So. Like I said, it's not our business model is not right. It's not wrong. It is what it is. It's just how we do stuff, which is okay.
So we take more time from going to the flea market and list all the stuff we have in the storage unit. Lindy says she'd be impressed what we could fit in her little Audi. So
exactly.
Audi A4. Yep. Awesome. We just got a trailer and it's hauled by a Toyota Yaris, a hatchback.
Beautiful.
We love it.
Yep.
And I think the first thing we tell, like when people ask us to start with, like, what are they going to get? I think a little trailer is one of the best things you can get once you're ready for that. Just that little like 4x8 trailer.
Exactly.
We use that thing all the time. Like we use that more than anything else is just our little trailer. Use it more than the truck. Use it more than so.
And I can pick that thing up, take it off the bumper. It doesn't have like a hand jack on the top because it's so heavy. It's just a 4x8, like a 4x8 sheet of plywood. That's how big it is, with little tiny walls around the sides. But I have had that trailer since I was probably 18 years old. And I used it for cutting grass when I was younger. And I still have the trailer, and we use that trailer bar none more than any other trailer. We have tons of trailer. We have other trailers, guys. We have a lot of. We have trucks. We have trailers. We have a lot of stuff. But that is the trailer that gets used the most. It's the easiest to move around. It will handle almost anything that we buy because we don't buy a ton of super heavy duty stuff. So that trailer by far is bar none the best trailer we have.
It's an open trailer. So yes, is it open or closed trailer?
No, we have an enclosed trailer too.
We do have a closed trailer, which we use for the 127 yards. So that was helpful for like going through rain.
But our little open trailer is by far the one we use the most, and it's the easiest trailer to use for sure.
How about outsourcing the listings to a virtual assistant?
Yeah,
that's on the list of things to do.
I can do all that stuff too.
It's on the list.
Yeah, we have a lot of ways to
next steps.
to up our business, get an employee to help fix stuff, and listing is not really my ordeal. It's more of I hate to buy stuff that I get for dirt cheap and then sell it. It might need a small thing that I know I can fix. I hate to sell it for
one small part.
a lower price because it's not working when I know I can get it up and working and sell it for 10 times the amount of money. So that's my more on my end. It's somebody who I would hire out to fix some of the stuff that I bought that I know has the capabilities of fixing it, and then I can list it. So listing is not the problem. It's more of the stuff that I buy is because I get such a great deal on it if it's broken, and I know how to fix a lot of stuff, or I can figure out how to fix a lot of stuff through YouTube. That I know I can do it, or I have faith in myself.
That's another thing for sourcing too. Like some things that are broken might just need a small part, and he doesn't know everything. He searches on YouTube all the time. So like people are like, how do you know how to fix it? Well, YouTube. It's a very big help.
And that goes back to our normal routine, guys. When you're out there sourcing, and you were to find something at a yard sale, a thrift store, or even a flea market, and it is broken, and it is hugely discounted on price. You're paying $20 for it, and the money is there if you can fix it. Walk away and jump onto YouTube. See if you can find something on YouTube, which either the vendor's going to tell you what's wrong with it. It's a broken screen. There's a broken part on it. Jump on and do that research. Do it on YouTube. 9 out of 10 times, broken stuff, people post stuff on YouTube, videos how to do it, or a forum on Google that you can Google it and find out somebody who's fixed it. And then you can go back with an educated, hey, I think I can fix this. I think I can figure out how to fix this. I'm going to take a chance on this thing for $20. So I can make, $1,000 on it if I can order this part and put it on it and fix it. So go ahead.
I was going to say, or even sometimes you can sell it online for parts and still make more money than it was at the flea market or yard sale, whatever, for $20, because that's just your local market.
Yep.
So you go and you take it and you put it on eBay, you bought it for $20 and you can sell it for however much, just for parts. You did that actually with was that eBay or local? The pinball machine you bought it broken off of offer up for $50. You tried to fix it, you couldn't fix it. You sold it for $500.
$500
for parts. The person knew, like it was local, but he came, inspected everything. Like he obviously knew what he was doing. Yep. He knew what it's worth. It was like a vintage one, and so he knew what to fix, and he bought it for $500. So you can't discount things that might not be working. So sometimes they can be great.
Exactly.
There was a question up here that I missed. I think I read that you taught yourself how to ship freight. I tried Googling to teach myself, but I don't think I'm searching for the right items. What do you look for? I was going to just say, like, you've done freight for a while now, and we have put together a lot of information. We have that in our course. So we go through freight. If you have the Pro Flipper Plus course, we've also done a workshop 2 workshops ago, and that is evergreen. Like it's still there. It's not live, but we have all our recorded videos. So if you're interested in that workshop, I can send you the link to that or the course too. So that's something we're not going to be able to dig into, like the workshop and the depth of all the freight stuff. I mean, we definitely can talk about it a little bit, but we're not going to be able to go into like just demonstrations and stuff, obviously. So
it's taken us years to get to where we're at with the freight stuff now. I'll ship anything. If you guys just found us, last year we shipped a Harley Davidson sign that was 12 foot long, 8 foot tall, and 4 foot wide. I built a pallet for it. I built the crate around it, and we shipped it from Florida to Utah. So
the largest crate you've ever built.
that's by far the biggest one. But even last night, I just took 2 crates. I mean, I just took 2 crates to the freight terminal and dropped them off. And that's it's just what we do. We make so much more money because we're willing to do that. And most of the large items that we do sell, we do free shipping on it because I know what it's going to cost me to ship stuff. So
most of the time you can ship freight for $100 to $250. So and if you build that into the price, then it definitely makes it worth it. Did you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay. How many things do you find that you can just that you just can't part with?
Lots.
No,
I love.
it's not that you can't part. Like
Yeah.
I feel like you will sell anything. It's just you want to get your certain price. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to see it go for nothing when
Yeah.
you know what it's worth.
But
Right?
we do find toys. We find stuff that
Okay.
we buy.
Boats or jet skis, you won't just get.
Yeah, toys. I mean, I like jet skis. I mean, we electric skateboards, you name it, 4-wheelers for the kids. I find some crazy good deals, and yeah, I mean, and I wouldn't say I can't part with it. We use it for a season, and then we'll sell it or whatever we want to do with it. So that's the other cool thing about this business is you can find some amazing stuff. It allows us to be able to have the lifestyle that we have by buying secondhand stuff. That's really good stuff.
Our whole house is pretty much secondhand.
Yeah.
All of our appliances,
And you would never know it.
Stainless steel appliances. They're all one of them. I think our stove we got for free.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
out of the trash, but it was a nice stove.
Yeah, you would never know it.
So,
like I said, it allows us to be able to afford the stuff that we have just by doing secondhand. So
regarding things that aren't working, I've come across a handful of free broken hot tubs on Craigslist. Are hot tubs something you guys deal in?
I did hot tubs for a season back when I was in my 20s. The only bad thing about hot tubs is storage, having a place to store it. And then, yeah, just making most problems with the hot tubs are the outside shells, are the outside like wooden shells that go around it.
Rot.
Yeah, they rot and you have to either rebuild them. If you like to rebuild that stuff, then yeah, you can make some good money at it. I would get them for like next to nothing, and then I could turn around and sell them for $500 to $1,000. So I did it for a while. I even built a hot tub dolly that you could throw them on a dolly so you could move them around easier. But
there's one reseller who does that. I
Yeah.
follow that we did that podcast with. He does a lot of the hot tubs. So I mean, they're definitely, if you can get them in good condition,
Yep.
it would definitely. I mean, it's free. That's one thing about some free items. Like we'll find stuff in the trash. If it ends up not working out, then we just put it back in the trash. Like
Yep.
it's not. I mean,
Nothing
there
lost.
is some time lost, but if you find, you think
It's
you
worth
can
the
do it,
risk.
sometimes it can be worth the risk.
so
Joy said sold an ice cream machine. That Joy, sold her ice cream machine for parts for $1,500.
There you go.
Remember? So.
yeah, most of the stuff that
yeah.
I can't test, I do the same way. That cooktop we just sold and shipped last night, I listed that as is because I didn't know. I didn't physically see it work. I couldn't hook it up to natural gas. So I sold it as is. I said, listen, they told me there was nothing wrong with it, but I cannot physically tell you. I can't,
Test it.
in good conscience say, hey, there's nothing wrong with this. It came out of a restaurant. There was nothing wrong. So I just give them all the information that I have. I list it that way. They make the educated assumption, or they decide if it's worth them to invest that money in it. In this case, it was $3,000, but to go and buy a new one for $10,000-$15,000, they might be able to put a tiny bit of money into it and get a great unit for $4,000, and they were willing to take that risk. So yeah, don't discount stuff because it's broken or not working. If you can't figure out how to fix it, there's so many, and I can tell you so many items that we've sold that way that you're able to still sell, even if it's broken. You just sell it either for parts or you sell, in just the way that you bought it. So,
we're going to probably stop in just a few minutes. I just wanted to let you guys know, just because we want to respect everybody's time.
Yep.
And anybody who's watching the replay too, but there's a couple more questions. And if we don't get to all the questions, we're definitely going to, go through these the rest of the couple weeks. Scotty asked, do you ever sell dining tables?
Yes, we, that was actually the
first freight shipment we ever did.
That was the turning point and that was a couple years ago. The turning point in our career was when we were able to ship that dining room table.
It was a
big table. I think it had
from an auction.
8 or 10 chairs to it, and it had a buffet with it too. A buffet, huge, like long dresser buffet that you could put folded up the top. It had all kinds of compartments to be able to put the silverware, china, and stuff like that. And yeah, it was really cool. It was a cool set. But we couldn't sell that thing locally for $750. Paid $350 for it. Couldn't sell it locally for anything. And then I started looking on eBay, doing some research, finding out people that were offering shipping on those kind of sets, that they were selling them. So we threw it on eBay, sold it for $2,200. Less than a month, we sold it fairly quick and charged the guy an extra $400 or $500 for shipping. I put all of that, the table, the chairs, the buffet, all on one single pallet. It was a bigger, not a normal small pallet. It was a bigger pallet. But we put it all to that pallet and shipped it to the guy. And that was the turning point in our career. We realized people will pay the money for this stuff if they're getting a good deal. Now, to give you another example, we paid $350 for that. The retail on that, I think it was over $10,000. It was a good name brand, well made. The chairs alone to buy the extra chairs were like $700 or $800 per chair. So that gives you an idea. People aren't going to spend that kind of money on something that does not have the high retail. We probably could have sold that for more money than we did, but it's starting out at $750 in our local market, throwing it on eBay for $2,200. We thought we were stretching, but we actually sold it. And yeah, that just gives you an idea of what your potential is when you're willing to ship and sell stuff on eBay like that. So.
Yeah. It wasn't that long. It was on Facebook for a while, and then it was only a couple weeks. I find it difficult to find deals and apps like OfferUp. Things are expensive. Any tips? And we're definitely going to jump into those.
Yep.
So we're going to go through OfferUp, LetGo, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace for sure.
I'll show you some cool tips and tricks to be able to find some cool stuff.
And we're not going to, we're going to search some on ours, but we definitely want to go through a lot of your
local areas too.
Yeah. So make sure you guys email us those.
Yeah. Everybody who just jumped on, that was what Melissa said in the beginning. After we get off this call, guys, shoot us an email with the title saying zip code or subject, zip code, and throw in your zip codes. We're not going to be able to do them all, but we'll pick and choose a couple of them that we can do, and then when we are sourcing in those apps, we'll try to pick some of your zip codes.
We're going to screen share, so we'll be able to go through our phone or our computer and
show you how we search.
Show you how we search and screen share from our phone. So we'll just do it live, and then we can talk about that then. Can you post a pic of your open trailer in the Facebook group? Yep, we can definitely do that. And what would be a good price for one?
This is crazy because in different areas down here in Florida, I can probably get that same trailer for $350, $400 tops. I've looked in, I think Arizona, one of our students is in Arizona, California, and I cannot find a decent deal on trailers like that. So it just depends on where you're at. I would recommend you going on OfferUp, LetGo, Craigslist, definitely Craigslist, and just do a research for a couple weeks if you're to that point where you're ready to buy one. Shop around and you should find a good deal. But like I said, our trailers down here are plentiful, and I could find one. Within a week, I could find one for $350, $400. It would be an amazing trailer.
But if you keep searching too, like it'll come up in a lot of your feeds that you're searching, so they'll show you them first. So that's always good too. Have you ever worked with people in Canada? Shipping is pricey. We do have a couple people that are from Canada in our course.
Yep.
And we've been starting to work more with shipping because that we've heard that too, that shipping is a little bit more pricey going through there. And then you also have the global shipping program too, that it is helpful. So you can ship through that.
Yep.
And if your items are eligible for the global shipping program, you only have to get it to your local hub. So that's helpful. Do you ship things fully assembled or broken down to the smallest components, or somewhere in between, depending on the crate?
Exactly. Wherever we want to take as least stuff possible off the unit to be able to still ship it and get a good price.
So we break it down. Yeah. But a lot of the stuff is just big and it stays assembled. But when you can break it down, like some furniture you can break down, take the legs off or do it.
For example, we sell strollers. We have a double stroller. We sell double bob strollers, something that we look for quite often. They are good, profitable strollers when you find them for the good price. I pull all the wheels off of those things. I fold them up the tightest that I can, and then I put them in the smallest box that I can. And that goes FedEx, UPS for a stroller. But larger items that I'm shipping on a pallet, a lot of times it doesn't. Sometimes it will make a difference. If it's just a little bit too big, I might take a monitor off an exercise bike to get it down, 5-7 inches to save me a little bit of money. But all that kind of stuff. It's nothing major that I will take apart. For the most part, especially if they're paying freight. I'm not going to disassemble every nut and bolt to give them a bucket of parts to put back together. Right. So you kind of want to you want to be you want to think ahead on that kind of stuff for sure. So
Ashley said they paid $100 for their 4x8 trailer just a few weeks ago on Craigslist.
Beautiful.
So, awesome. And Joy said around here Tractor Supply also rents trailers. Yeah, that's a great idea too. We've had another person do that too. Like just kind of when you're getting started, you're getting the feel for it. Don't not do something because you don't have a truck or trailer. You can, rent it for a day or something.
U-Haul will rent them. Lowe's, Home Depot, they rent them.
Stacy said too, she makes sure, she has friends with trucks or trailers too. So that helps, pay for their gas, throw them some money or whatever it is. A lot of times people will be willing to help if it's just, obviously not every time, but your first few times while you're getting used to it. So how hard is it to source items during a recession? Actually,
don't even get me on that. I think our business is recession proof. People are going to have to get rid of stuff because they need money. You'll be able to find amazing deals. And if you have money to invest, you can buy stuff, and then it's not that difficult. The other people who need stuff, they're not going to be going out buying new stuff. They're going to be buying used stuff. They're going to be looking for deals. So
people won't be buying as much new. They're going to be looking. on eBay. They're going to be looking on, you know, all the other apps.
Yeah.
So it definitely is it's a better time for people who are doing resellers.
We might be partial on our thing of it. Well, we went, I mean, I wasn't doing it full time through the last recession, but still, we did hit a hiccup with, you know, buying and selling stuff.
I mean, unfortunately, part of it, business is closed. So, you know,
you're going to have stuff liquidated.
You know, people move a lot more frequently. So unfortunately, that's part of the process in a recession. But if you're in the position to get more stuff and sell more stuff, then it puts you in a good position to make sales. So, and you might end up selling some of your stuff a little bit cheaper, but you probably got it for a cheaper rate too.
That's right.
So it's it's not usually bad. But we just hit the 1 hour mark, so we definitely want to respect your time, and we got through a lot of questions too. So
check it out too, guys. If you guys, you know, you're thinking about this video talk tonight, and you know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes away, or anything like that. You guys can write those questions down. How can they send them to us?
They can put, they can put some in the Facebook group, or just email them to us too, and we'll make sure we talk about them. So we have 2 things for the homework. So give us your zip code. That's 1 in an email, subject zip code, and then also go look for 3 items, whether it's apps, whether it's locally. Write down, you know, where, like, I'm going to Goodwill. I found this for $5. It's worth this retail, worth this on eBay. It could be retail or eBay, just to kind of give you an idea. You don't have to buy it. You can buy it. You can sell it. But just to kind of, because some people in here might not have really ever sourced that much. So just to kind of get an idea of what things you're selling for. So, and then we're going to go over that. We're going to dive deeper into that. So,
and the quick notes for the research: when you find an item, get the brand and get the model. Those are the 2 things you want to get when you get an item, and condition. I guess you could say 3 things, because you want to know if it's in decent condition. And then go into Google, type that brand, and type that model number right off the bat. You'll start to see stuff come up. Retail stuff, you'll start to see other used stuff come up. Do it in Google, and then go into eBay and do the same exact thing. Check the stuff that's listed and check the stuff that's completed. Both of those, that will give you your
best idea of what it can sell
exactly. That'll give you a good idea of what the retail is, so you never want to go over that when you're trying to sell something. Drop that down to half price, and then that is your starting point. The majority of the time, that's a good starting point.
It might be a little more.
Exactly, but it is a good starting point of retail. You know, it's very desirable if you find something in good condition that is going to be half of retail. Somebody will want to buy it. So, and like I said, there's different things that will come into play with either lower, higher, whatever it is. But that's a great starting point for being able to source items and know what the value is.
How can we watch the replays? I'm going to send them out tomorrow. They have to download to the computer, and then I'll upload them onto YouTube, and there'll be link. Oh, it'll be a link, but it's a restricted link. So I'll send it to you guys, and then you guys can view it. And I'll also post it in the group tomorrow. So
cool.
Once it's all downloaded and uploaded. So that's it though. All right, guys.
All right, guys, you rock. Thank you. Hopefully this has been helpful, guys. We'll see you guys next week, and look forward to it.
Yeah, the next couple of weeks. These are fun. We really love
doing it. We do.
So you guys are rock.
Bring your questions next week. We can't wait. We will jump into an app, and we will start working on the app sourcing.
Yep.
So
awesome, guys. Thank you.
All right, guys.
All right.
See ya.